Hello again, it's me and him down here. Come up here. Say hello to everybody. What's going on? That's a bit high for you, isn't it, that? Yeah, you don't like that, I don't like that. We're here today because I promised that I would do a basic sharpening video because I noticed that there were people on the Unplugged Woodworkers group that had basic problems with sharpening, and that was depressing them to the point where they might even give up. So I just do a few steps now. There's a fundamental point I want to make at the beginning, that the thing to keep in your mind with regards to sharpening is that when you sharpen an edge, be it a plain edge, be it a chisel, or be it a knife even, and not this particular one, but a knife, a sharp edge is basically two flat surfaces coming together at a point of infinite tininess, and obviously you can't achieve that. So the closer you get to that, the closer you get to sharp. With woodworking, a close approximation is good enough. If you've ever done picked up an old kitchen appliance like a washing machine or a refrigerator, and you put your hands under the edge, you'll find that on the edge is extremely sharp, and you'll cut yourself right across the front. And that's the basis of what we want to achieve today. We can achieve that quite simply here in the workshop with some very basic things. I'm going to be using this is, it just happens to be the one that's on the shelf. I think it's a number 6. No, it's a number 5. It's fairly common jack. So it's your average plane. Most people will get eventually. This is a Stanley Bailey type. It happens to be made in Sweden, this one. But it's a basic plane. I'll also be using a brick here. And down here we have some bits and pieces of abrasives and sticky tapes and things like that. So that's just a rough piece of wood here. It's got quite a bit of roughness to it. Set fairly finely, and I can get quite fine shavings from it, so it's pretty sharp. First thing I'm going to do to it is take the iron off the cap iron, or chip breaker as they say in America, and to show you that the iron is pretty sharp. It could do with a hone, but it's pretty flat on the face. This side in England is the face of the iron, and this side is the bevel. In America it's the back and the bevel, so it's entirely up to you. What I'm going to do with it first, the first treatment, is to get a London house brick and bugger it up. So now that is completely blunt. I have managed to ruin the edge as if you were there planing teak for the last 3 millennium. That's the end of the brick. So anybody wondering whether they're going to have to go and find a London brick, don't worry. I've just made it artificially blunt, and the first thing we need to do therefore is the first stage of sharpening is we need to grind it back because we've damaged it. So you might chip an iron, you might it might come completely unsharpened. Often they do. So you might want to start right at the very beginning and sharpen it. Now I'm going to use abrasive papers because this is the cheapest way for people on a budget to start out, and it's no less effective than any other method. It's just that it wears out quickly. So people who buy diamond plates, people who buy ceramic stones, so on and so forth, they've got to the point where they're fed up with throwing away abrasives and all the mess and waste and so on and so forth, and in the end it works out cheaper. But there's nothing wrong with getting, I mean, I bought a whole 10 meters of this for a £5. So what I'm doing is just sticking some double-sided tape on the back. Now, there are two ways of doing this. You see a lot of people stick tape on it. You sometimes get people put water on here and then stick it down with just basically water adhesion. What I'm doing is double-sided tape just for cleanliness at the moment. I don't want to water all over my bench. And I've stuck it lengthways. Now there's a reason for that. One of the problems with using an abrasive on paper on a plain iron on a flat surface is that it bunches up. It can bunch up, and that causes what they call dubbing over, which is not what you want. You don't want a rounded edge, which is basically what that is. So I've just got a piece of flat. Now flat, everybody talks about float glass and all sorts of different materials. This is a piece of Corian made by DuPont. It's inherently flat. Oh look, that's as far as my planning goes. I think it was my mitre plane. It's inherently flat, and you can get offcuts from kitchen suppliers. But you can use your kitchen worktop when the missus is out shopping, or anything really. Granite, old tiles that are flat, and that's good enough. So that's what you start with. The second thing, people say honing guides. Oh, that's for amateurs, and that's for children and people who can't do any woodworking, and especially this. You find this with the old boys, because they've been dragged up to get the angle right physically themselves. It's not worth it, because a honing guide, if you're just starting out, a honing guide is your training wheels. Need a ruler. Your training wheels on a bike. When you get on a push bike, some people, they got this bravado and they want to get on a bike and they just get on, fall off, get on, fall off, get on, fall off. And other people have training wheels, and these are just training wheels. And what this will do is give you a memory map that will, your muscle memory that will stay with you automatically. So after a while, you won't need to. This is you can get these basic honing guides. You can get them. There are some cheap ones, made modern cheap ones. This is the Eclipse 36. It's a British one, and if you can get the old ones, they're better than the new ones. Basically, all you do, you put it in, flat face to the front. You measure, let me say, 38 millimeters there, whatever that is in English. And that gives you exactly 30 degrees when you put it like that. If you make it shorter, it'll make it more acute. If you make it longer, I think it's, for a plain iron, 50, it'll give you 25. So I've set it for 30 because I just want to hone a new secondary bevel on here. So we'll tighten up. I don't know what's on me. Oh, there it is. This has to be fairly tight. You don't want this walking about. Now on the modern ones, the roller is pretty crap, and that tends to bugger up, so people don't like them. But normally, they're okay. They're perfectly fine for what you need to do. I think you can get these for a tenner. So, and the first thing you need to do, whether you're using a ceramic stone, whether you're using a diamond stone, whether you're using abrasive papers, is your stance. Often in woodworking, your body position helps you or hinders you with regards to what you're doing. So with sharpening, I'm just going to do it from here because it's easy to show for the camera, but normally I would do it the other way around. You need to hold the iron as if you were honing it by hand to push it along like this, but you don't go like you're rowing. What you do is you hold your elbows together and rock your whole body. Now that prevents the edge from, again, dubbing over. I'll try and lock this down beforehand. Now this I've just put on here is 60 grit. That is capable of creating a brand new grind on this iron, to such a point now where I have now got a wire burr on the back, on the face, and you can actually feel it with your fingernails. You need to get to that stage. That is caused by the iron being sharpened to the point where it's now appearing on the other side, and that's what you want to achieve. That is critical. Yeah, Alfie, yes. Yes, you're saying it as well, aren't you? Yes. Do you want to see? Do you want to see? Come see. Oh, when I go in, I'm cold. And I've got sawdust all over me. So, once you've achieved that, you've achieved your washing machine sharpness. Because when you cut sheet steel, you slice it and you cause a burr, and that's what cuts you. And that is what is now bent over on the back of here. Yes, darling. Now, I've made some other ones earlier. And this one is just going up the grits, and that's a critical thing. Yeah, come on, hold it. So we have 100. That was 80 grit, and then we've got 120, 240, 400. All these you can get in your auto supply place for auto repair. Yeah. So all I'm doing is the same thing, because you've got to keep it in the guide while you're doing it. So you're going, basically I'm just going up the grits and getting finer and finer. The edge is still on the back there. But you hear it's getting less and less abrasive, and what's happening is that edge now, if you can see that, is becoming more polished. And then finally 400, which isn't really smooth. But that's the first sharpening. Now I have got quite a shiny edge there, and if I take the last piece and put the face or the back flat down on the last piece and pull it back like that, I will break off that wire edge, and I have now created quite a burr. Now at this point we talk about strops. This is a strop. It's got chromium paste in it. You can strop it like that, and that will also break off that wire edge to the point where I could shave my arm on it. There you go. It's actually shaving. You can hear it shaving hairs, if you can see it. But it's shaving bits of skin off as well. But there are hairs there. So that is now sharp enough to use again. And it's as simple as that. That's all it takes. If you want to hone, because that's sharpening, sort of the grinding stage, honing is just refining that, getting it a little bit more polished. These are what they call scary sharp. And it's just a marketing ploy, and it is actually scary sharp. It's a marketing ploy, but it's effective one. These are the same papers, but they're made sticky back, and I put them on glass, and basically they go up the grits, different colours, and you're getting faster and faster. Apologies for not getting the right stance. Remember, tuck your elbows in, lean your body forward like that. And now after just a few wipes, as you can see. You see that polished edge, James, my cameraman? Sort of. Let me see if I can get it in the light. And that is, you know, you could, that's really polished. And again, you can hone it on the final one of those to get it really. Now, when you're going up the grits, all you're doing is increasing the sharpness. When you had the green paper at 80 grit, it was sharp, because if I'd have broken that burr off, I could still shave my arm. And that is proven, because when you break the burr, you create the sharpest edge. You create that point of almost infinite smallness. With honing, all you're doing is making that sharp edge more refined, and that leaves, instead of a jagged edge, you get a less jagged edge. It's still a jagged edge. If you look at it on a microscope, it will look like a saw, but it just, to the naked eye, it will just look straight. And when you look on wood, there won't be any scratch marks or striations on the wood. So we put this back together. We'll come on to cap irons at a later date, because that's another thing, but we're just talking about sharpness. So we offer the cap iron back up to the edge of the face there and tighten that up. It's a bit of an overkill on the screwdriver. Lock it into place. Cap iron. Lever cap rather. First time, nearly first time there. Get a little bit less huge piece of wood. The right way around first time. Adjustment on these Bailey planes, I'm not used to it. There you go. Whoops. I don't think you can get much sharper than that. Well, I'll be happy with that if I got that out of a shop. Brand new. Alright. And that's all there is to it. So if that doesn't give you confidence to go out and try it, keep the video running, go play it a few times. But that is simply, I didn't really have to use them, could have done it with just these four, but that is simply 80 grit sandpaper. Automated papers are better. You can use them wet and dry. You could put some honing oil on it if you wanted to. Do what you like. It's great fun. Play around with it, practice, you know, see what you find best. But I've got 120 grit, 240 grit, 400 grit, or the other way around, and that's it. And that's purely it. And then a pack of Scary Sharps is not very much. You can buy these, I think, in America and certainly in England at Workshop Heaven. Matthew swears by them, and I agree with him. And that could last you for, you know, I mean, look, I haven't really used it, and that's done. Don't have to use those again, because I'm not going to use a brick on this again. So all I really need to use are these, and you can see that they're still effective. This one's been worn and worn and worn and worn and worn. And when I first started woodworking, that's all I could afford. You can replace that with diamond plates. These are cheap ones. This is a cheap one that I've dismembered. I think these were at £5 each on eBay, with a coarse side and a fine side, and you flip them over. They take the place of those. But that's all there is to it. So the key points to remember are, don't be chicken and feel it's embarrassing to use a honing guide. I am fed up with seeing people complaining, oh, you don't need a honing guide. Don't listen to them. You probably won't when you get to their level, but they forget that they were on that little bike themselves before, falling off over and over again. If you get this, you keep it set to 25-30 degrees, you run up the grits, you run up the polishing. That's all you need, because it's as simple as that. And I have taken an edge, I don't know if you can get that, James, in the light, but that edge is, it's not the world's best, but you see what it could do. And I just ran that across a brick, and there was, you know, it really needed regrinding. Hope that's been of help. Please stick with it. If there's any questions, come back to me. Leave comments on YouTube or on the Unplugged Woodworkers forum. More than happy to help. But that is basic sharpening 101. All you need to do, couple of dollars, couple of pounds, and you're done. Right, Alf? You want to go in, do you, mate? You going to say goodbye to everybody? Come to see us then. Come up here then, I've got it. This is Ralphie. Yeah, you're fed up, aren't you? Go and say goodbye then. Say goodbye. We've got to go in. It's too cold out here. I even put the heating on for him. I put the heating on. It's costing me a fortune, you are. Okay then. See you later. Thank you very much.